It's fine if you're not perfect here, if you're wobbling all over the place. That's the challenge. We're testing our balance here. Oopsie, happens to everybody. But that's what makes you better. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Claire, and today we are focusing on yoga poses that help build positive energy. We're going to be starting on our mats in a seated position in Sukhasana. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can take any seated position that feels good, or maybe place a blanket or a bolster under your hips to help elevate the hips a little bit. But when you're nice and comfy, let's get started. So focusing on your breath, maybe closing the eyes or softening your gaze if that feels comfortable. But just starting to focus inward and noticing how your breath feels in this moment without judgment, just noticing. One more round of breath, just at your natural pace. And then go ahead and open your eyes. So we're going to be focusing this first part of class on a 3-part energizing breath. So this will help bring, of course, a little bit of energy to your body, but also help clear out any of that unwanted energy, unwanted tension before we get really moving here. So 3-part breath sounds kind of like this. You're inhaling 1/3, inhaling the second third, and then inhaling that last third. And then at the top, you'll pause for a moment and then exhale out through your mouth, just letting everything go. So we'll try that now. Inhaling in 1/3, inhaling in that second third, and filling all the way up. Exhale out through the mouth. We'll do that one more time. Inhale in 1/3. Inhale in the second third, filling all the way up, and exhale, let it all go. Beautiful. On your next inhale, reaching those arms up towards the sky, and then exhale, cactus the arms, bringing your elbows down, opening the chest as you bend those elbows. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach, and then bring your palms down to your knees, sitting up nice and tall. We're gonna take a couple torso rotations here. So as you inhale, bringing your chest forward, hinging forward at the hips, and then exhaling, rounding the back as you come around in this circular motion. So kind of think cat-cow here for this movement. Still pairing our breath to movement. Great, we'll take one more rotation in this direction, and then let's reverse it. Inhaling, opening that chest. Exhale, rounding the back. One more round of breath. Finding some stillness and then transitioning into tabletop position. Taking a moment to feel really sturdy in your foundation here. So stacking your wrists below your shoulders, knees below your hips, a nice long spine all the way through the crown of your head, and then lifting up out of your hip and shoulder joints. On an inhale, extend your right leg back, and then lift it up and let it hover above the ground. Still pressing evenly into both hands. Take a breath in, and then exhale, bringing your right knee out and around towards your right shoulder, and eventually stepping it on the outside of your hands at the top of your mat. You can take your left knee and scoot it back a little bit just to get more of that hip flexor stretch. And then same thing, we're gonna make some circles here with the hips. So inhaling as you come up and around, exhaling on that bottom half of the circle. And this doesn't have to be really big movement, just work within your personal range of motion. Great, let's switch directions. Awesome. Find some stillness and then step your right knee back to meet your left, and we're coming back to reset in tabletop. Inhale. Exhale to extend your left leg out long and let it hover. Pressing down evenly into both hands. Inhale to lengthen that leg. Exhale, bend the knee, bringing it towards your left shoulder and around, eventually to plant on your mat on the outside of both hands, scooting that right knee back just a tad. And we'll start with some hip circles. Great. Being mindful of your breath here, really using that inhale to energize your body, and the exhale to release any unwanted tension. All right, let's reverse those circles. And find some stillness, bringing your left knee back to meet your right, resetting in tabletop. Inhale in, lift up out of your shoulder, out of your hips, tuck the toes, and then exhale, lifting your hips up into downward facing dog. Melting your chest back towards your thighs, feeling your tailbone reach for the sky while your heels ground down towards the earth. Inhale, bend the knees, look between your hands, and then step to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Inhale, rise up into mountain, bringing your hands together and then clasping your opposite elbows. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift up. Exhale, step your left foot behind your right as you tip your elbows over into a side body stretch. Feeling your left side body lengthen, keeping your chest open. And inhale back to center. Let your spine lengthen. And then exhale, right foot comes behind the left, tipping your elbows over into a side body stretch on the right. Take a couple deep breaths in here. Inhale back to center, open the arms, look towards the sky, and then exhale, swan dive, open the arms into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, rolling your shoulders back and down away from the ears. And then exhale down into forward fold. Inhale, widen the feet by heel toe, your feet out to the outer edges of your yoga mat. And then exhale, sitting down into Balasana, sinking the hips and then lifting your chest. Hands come to heart center in prayer. Take a couple breaths here. Feeling your elbows press into your knees as your knees press back into your elbows. Inhale, rise back up into mountain, heel toe, your feet back together, and then start to feel a grounding through your right leg. As you lift your left heel up, hands go up overhead, and then maybe, if it feels good for your body, lifting that left knee up into single leg Tadasana. Take a few breaths here. Exhale back down into mountain and into our forward fold. Planting your palms on the mat, stepping your legs back into plank. Inhale, shift forward on the toes. Exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Sweeping your hands behind you and clasping together behind your sacrum. Inhale, lift your chest off the mat. And if it feels good, maybe your legs, Shalabhasana. Take a breath in and exhale back down to your mat. Plant your palms, tuck your toes, and then one big push gets you up into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath. Inhale, bend your knees, step towards the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, rise up into mountain. And then exhale, clasp your opposite elbows. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, left leg comes behind the right, tipping your elbows over into your side body stretch. Inhale, back to center. Right leg crosses behind the left, tipping the elbows over to your left. Inhale, back to center, open your arms, and then exhale, swan dive down into your forward fold. Inhale, widen your stance by heel toeing the feet out to the edges of your yoga mat. Exhale, down into Balasana, tipping your chest up and hips down, hands together at heart center. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, back up into mountain, reaching up overhead as you heel toe your feet back together. This time grounding down through your left foot as you pop your right heel up. Hands go up overhead. If this feels good and you're ready for a little more balance, lifting that right knee into single leg Tadasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, back into mountain pose, and then down into our forward fold. Plant your palms on the mat, step back into plank. Inhale, shift forward on the toes, and then slowly lower all the way down to your mat. Untuck the toes, and then bring your hands back behind your sacrum. This time, opposite thumb goes on top. Inhale, lifting your chest off the mat, maybe the feet. And exhale all the way back down. Inhale, plant the palms. Exhale, one big push gets you up into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. And on an inhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. I'm gonna turn to face you just so you can see me a little better here. We're setting up for tree pose. So a few different options. One, you can start with your right heel lifted, grounding down through your left foot. And if your balance is a little shaky, maybe we opt for this today. So taking your right heel to your left shin, palms come to heart center, and settling in here. You can grow your tree, you can keep your hands at heart center, whatever feels most comfortable for you. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, bringing the bottom of your right foot to your left shin. Again, maybe growing your tree. And if this feels super easy and you're ready for a little more, you can bring the bottom of your right foot to your inner left thigh. Hands at heart center, or growing those branches tall. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, if you're a little wobbly, that is totally fine. And then unwinding, coming back down to center. Great, we're gonna set up on the other side. So grounding down through the right foot, left heel lifts off the earth. You can open the thigh with that external rotation for our tree kickstand. Or if you're ready to test your balance a little bit, sole of the left foot comes to your shin, or sole of the left foot comes to your inner thigh. Beautiful. And again, it's fine if you're not perfect here, if you're wobbling all over the place. That's the challenge. We're testing our balance here. Oopsie, happens to everybody. But that's what makes you better. Beautiful. Coming back down to center, unwinding, and we're gonna come down to our mats for a little cool down. Coming onto our backs. And then bringing both knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug. Thanking yourself for showing up today. And then letting it go, bringing your feet into like you would if we're setting up for bridge pose. So feet are flat on the mat, palms facing down. We're gonna windshield wiper out the knees, so dropping both knees down to the left, through center, and down to the right. And just take it back and forth at your own pace. Coming back to center and then walking your legs about as wide as your yoga mat, and then bringing both knees in together for broken bridge. This should feel really good after all that external rotation that we worked on in the hips. Taking a few breaths and just settling into this pose. One more deep breath in and out. Walking your feet back together, extending the legs out long, and moving into our final resting pose, Savasana. So just letting your legs relax, letting the feet open naturally, palms facing up towards the sky, tucking your shoulder blades under your heart space. And closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. Just letting everything return back to your normal resting state. Noticing how your body feels. What your energy level is like. Even just adding a little bit of intentional, mindful movement to our day helps us feel energized. So great job showing up. Take a few more quiet breaths here. Start to deepen your breath. Sending that breath all the way down into your toes, feeling it wake up your body. I encourage you to spend as much time in Savasana as you need. If you have extra time, please do enjoy it. If not, if you're ready to move, if you have to get on to the next thing, let's start to roll out the wrists and the ankles. Reach your arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Taking one more big deep breath in this position. And we'll roll onto our right side, pushing up into Sukhasana, crossing the legs. Let's take one more inhale together. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bring them to prayer at heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. I hope you're feeling energized and refreshed and ready for the rest of your day. I will see you next time. Namaste.